Scottish Forestry are currently working to promote woodland creation as part of the Scottish Government's Climate Change Action Plan, and we're working with farmers to look at opportunities for integrating forestry into farming to help maximise overall business productivity. We're here today to meet an inspiring landowner, Peter Gascgoine of Gascgoine Farms, who's managed to incorporate forestry into his existing agricultural business to help maximise productivity and also to help secure the farm for future generations.
I've lived here and been in this farm since 2002 when we first bought the farm, but actually moved onto the site in 2008-2010. What we had here basically was just open fields, rolling hills, no trees, very little wildlife, and we were starting from a complete clean sheet of paper. Once the house was built, we decided then, right, let's try and do something with the land. Landscape this valley to such an extent that it becomes a feature not only for the farm but also the surrounding district. This valley runs from west to east. It's quite exposed, and we found that having the sheep here, to get the benefit from those sheep, we needed to provide a shelter belt.
And in terms of the actual stock themselves, what benefits do you see out in the field through the creation of the shelter belts?
It has certainly been, as far as I'm concerned, a benefit doing what we did. On a stormy day, those sheep are looking for shelter. In the wild, everything heads for the forests or the lee side of a hill. By putting the shelter belts in, we are providing that for them. And it does show a benefit, because your lambs aren't just lying in the middle of a field shivering, and you're not going out in the morning picking dead ones up. You will always reduce your feed costs if something is kept warm. You find that if something is cold, wet and hungry, then consequently your feed costs go up.
Yeah.
Also the fact that if your ewe is subjected to cold and driving wind and rain, you end up with udder clap or mastitis and all the problems that you get in a lambing time, and then your lamb suffers.
Yeah.
I like the shelter belts due to the fact that I know that if a storm comes, I know exactly where they're going to be. Okay, you lose a little bit of land, but the benefits towards the husbandry outweighs the loss of that wee bit of land.
Yeah.
We run 350 breeding ewes now. We reduced the number by half. What we did was we did away with our hill breed, and we put that ground into forestry. Yeah. And that is naturally for the future. We used the Farm Woodland grant scheme to do that. The idea was to have a lowland breed, get an early lammer, we lamb inside. We were moving towards the Hampshire, we find there's an early breed, and we're happy with the way things are going at this moment of time.
So you've basically managed to maintain your agricultural productivity at the same time as adding an additional asset to the farm that you didn't have before?
Without any shadow of a doubt. We put the hill into forestry. We enhanced the quality of the sheep that were retained. If we wanted to ever sell up, we could sell the forest as a block, and we could retain the farm. Not everybody wants a big farm. Not everybody wants to run with sheep or forestry, and by doing what we've done, that's given us the opportunity to do both. And basically that's what it is. You know, looking towards the future, looking towards the tax, looking towards maybe the sale in years and years to come. Yeah. Because with all due respect, you may try to build an empire for your family, and invariably your family don't want it.
Key is planting the right tree in the right place, looking at your objectives of what you want out of your woodland and planning that from the very start, and planting the right species where they will grow in the right place to maximise the productivity.
Now that we're getting back to renewable, what is a better renewable than planting trees? We're not planting just Sitka from fence to fence. In this area here, 50,000 hardwoods. That provides habitat for different kinds of wildlife, and that's why I've tried to combine the forestry and the sheep, and to provide something not only for now as an income, but also for the future generations. This field that you're looking at there now, we were subjected to liver fluke because it's a wet area, and we could never get it dried. And that's another expense towards the sheep. Yeah. It's never ever going to be what I would class a good field, and we'll never ever get the return on that field. We're going to plant it, we'll use the benefits of the tax and the grants that are there which are available. Yeah. It's going to save us a lot of money, and we'll have something to sell at the end of the day. The very end product is the fact that, and it's very rare for this to happen, there's no tax on that. Yeah. You know, everything else you touch, it's got a tax label attached to it. With regards to the planting of the forest, it's tax-free. It's something I can hand to my children or my grandchildren,
yep.
and they're not going to have the burden of the taxation.
So Peter, in terms of access for future years, if you're going to plant this field up in front of us here, you've got good access for future management operations which can help with the costs of management.
It's pointless just putting woods if you haven't got some form of access. You need an access point, not only for the preparation of the forest or the woods you're going to create, but also when you come to harvest them.
Yeah.
If you do it in the early stages, it's done and it's dusted.
Yeah.
It saves us having to track across a field and just making a mess of a field. So by putting the access points in, it's to our benefit.
We have a very generous grants package at the moment to assist people who want to look at the opportunities for woodland creation on their land, and in addition to that you will get additional monies for fencing and tree protection. The key point is that land planted under the current forestry grant scheme remains eligible for the basic payment scheme.
A business looking to do a forestry scheme is likely to need to bridge the costs of planting, roads, infrastructure, etc. prior to those grant monies coming back. So they will need to approach the bank with a good detailed cash flow forecast showing what they need, when the money is going to come back in. And this will need also to be supported by the actual grant application that they made, showing the overall scheme, what they're planning to do. Very important as a bank that you have good professional support to make sure that scheme is delivered and that the grant funding comes back in as expected.
There's basically 3 points on it to end up on. One is the fact that you're secure in the farm. The second one is the fact that it all comes down to economics, especially in today's world when there's a grant available, no taxation on it, and the third thing is you've got something that's going to be left for the future, and you're also helping the carbon footprint.